In the long journey of human life, no one can avoid moments of exhaustion, confusion, and the urge to stop. Life does not always unfold according to our wishes. There are days when we wake up full of hope, but there are also days when everything seems to work against us. Work does not go smoothly, relationships fracture, financial pressure weighs heavily, and invisible expectations from society leave us feeling suffocated. It is precisely in these moments that life motivation becomes an important psychological anchor, helping people keep moving forward even when they can no longer clearly see the road ahead. Motivation is not just fleeting inspiration. It is an enduring inner strength that helps us stand firm in the face of storms and not give up in adversity. Life motivation can be understood as the combined force of beliefs, goals, values, and aspirations that drive people to act. When we have motivation, we have reasons to strive, to endure, and to keep improving ourselves. Conversely, when motivation is lost, we easily fall into stagnation, self-doubt, and a loss of direction. Many people mistakenly believe that motivation is something that naturally exists and will appear if they simply wait for it. In reality, motivation is the result of a long process of cultivation. From setting clear goals, building positive habits, to learning how to face and overcome failure. In modern life, people face greater pressure than ever before. Rapid social development has made the pace of life faster, competition more intense, and standards of success higher. Social media constantly showcases images of successful, wealthy, and happy people, causing many to unconsciously compare themselves and feel inferior. When we look at others' success while forgetting their context and journey, we easily fall into feelings of inadequacy and lose motivation. This unfair comparison erodes self-belief and makes us forget that each person has a different starting point, a different background, and a unique path to walk. Life motivation does not come from chasing other standards, but from understanding what we truly want and what we value. When goals arise from within, from the desire for self-growth and the longing to live a meaningful life, motivation is more sustainable than when goals are merely meant to satisfy society's gaze. Some people study hard to build solid knowledge and broaden their horizons. Others work diligently to provide a better life for their families. Some persist in pursuing artistic dreams despite knowing the road is full of obstacles. Although their goals differ, the common point is that when people find a reason strong enough to strive, they gain the strength to continue. Failure is unavoidable in the pursuit of goals. No one walks the path to success without stumbling. However, how we interpret failure determines whether we continue or give up. If we see failure as proof of our inadequacy, we become discouraged and quit easily. If we see failure as a necessary lesson and part of growth, we find the motivation to stand up and try again. When viewed correctly, failure does not weaken us. It helps us understand our limits and find more suitable directions. One important factor in maintaining motivation is consistent action. Many people wait until they feel inspired before starting, but inspiration is unpredictable and unreliable. In contrast, small daily actions, even when we do not feel particularly motivated, help build discipline and strengthen self-trust. When we complete small tasks, we create a sense of progress, which in turn fuels further motivation. Persistence in small but consistent actions can lead to significant change in the long run. In addition, living environments and social relationships strongly influence motivation. People are easily affected by the energy of those around them. Being close to positive, driven, and supportive individuals makes it easier to feel inspired and maintain optimism. Conversely, frequent exposure to people who complain, are pessimistic, or dismiss others' efforts gradually erodes motivation. Therefore, choosing a healthy environment and actively building positive relationships is an important way to protect nurture life motivation. Beyond external influences, one's attitude toward oneself plays a key role in sustaining motivation. Many people are too harsh on themselves, setting excessively high standards and then blaming themselves for not meeting them. Constant self-criticism makes people feel not good enough, which leads to a loss of motivation. In reality, humans are not perfect machines. Everyone experiences fatigue, mistakes, and hesitation. Accepting our limitations, allowing ourselves to rest when needed, and fairly acknowledging our own efforts are ways to sustain motivation in the long term. Being kind to ourselves does not make us weak. On the contrary, it gives us the mental energy to keep striving. Life motivation is also closely connected to clarifying one's core values. Values are the principles and beliefs that people hold dear and want to protect. When we live in alignment with our values, life feels more meaningful, even when the road ahead is difficult. Conversely, chasing goals that conflict with personal values often leads to emptiness and confusion. For example, someone who values creative freedom but forces themselves into a rigid job due to social pressure may achieve material success, yet feel constantly exhausted and unmotivated. Understanding what we truly value helps us make more suitable choices and maintain long-term motivation. Motivation is not fixed. It rises and falls depending on circumstances and psychological states. There are periods when we are full of energy and ready to conquer challenges, and times when we feel drained, lost, and tempted to stop. Accepting this fluctuation is part of being human. Instead of blaming ourselves when motivation fades, we can see it as a signal to reflect. Are we overloaded? Are we pursuing goals that no longer fit us? Are we lacking balance between work and personal life? Alongside personal effort, society and education also play important roles in shaping and nurturing life motivation. An educational environment that encourages positive thinking, values effort, and prioritizes process over mere outcomes helps young people develop perseverance. Conversely, environments that focus only on surface-level achievements and impose rigid standards often create fear of failure and loss of motivation when expectations are not met. Society, through its policies, culture, and definitions of success, also influences whether people dare to dream and persist in pursuing their goals. In many cases, life motivation is powerfully rekindled by major life events. Loss, failure, or hardship can change how people view life. Some, after illness or the loss of a loved one, come to appreciate the value of each moment. Such emotional shocks, though painful, can become catalysts that help people rediscover motivation, live more slowly, more deeply, and more consciously about what truly matters. However, not everyone can overcome these experiences alone. Support from family, friends, and the community plays an important role in helping people stand back up during difficult times. In the constant flow of modern society, people face more choices and crossroads than ever before. Every choice carries consequences, and this uncertainty sometimes causes hesitation. In this context, life motivation is not only the desire for success, but also the courage to accept risks and take responsibility for one's decisions. With strong motivation, people dare to step out of their comfort zones, experiment with new things, and learn from both success and failure. Without motivation, people tend to choose a false sense of safety, remaining in familiar patterns even when they are not truly happy. Another expression of life motivation is the ability to set goals and persist in pursuing them. Goals do not have to be grand from the start. Sometimes small, concrete goals suited to current circumstances are more meaningful. Breaking goals into smaller steps helps people clearly feel their own progress, thereby sustaining optimism and perseverance. When each step brings a sense of growth, motivation no longer feels distant but becomes a natural result of continuous effort. Life motivation also manifests in the ability to self-adjust when facing difficulties. Life rarely unfolds exactly as planned. Some dreams do not come true, and some paths must be redirected. A motivated person is not one who never feels discouraged, but one who knows how to flexibly adjust goals and methods when circumstances change. Instead of stubbornly clinging to an unsuitable path, they learn to adapt and find new approaches to keep moving forward. This flexibility prevents people from collapsing in the face of life's changes and helps them see challenges as a natural part of growth. Another important aspect of life motivation is a sense of life's meaning. When people feel that their lives have value and positively impact others or the community, they gain more reasons to keep going. Life's meaning does not have to be tied to grand achievements. Sometimes it comes from simple acts such as helping someone in need, caring for family, or simply living kindly toward those around us. When our actions create value for others, we feel our existence is more meaningful, and this feeling sustainably nourishes life motivation. In reality, many people experience prolonged loss of motivation. This may stem from long-term pressure, repeated failures, or a sense of emptiness after achieving goals without the happiness they expected. In such cases, rediscovering motivation is not something that happens overnight. People need time to reflect on themselves, reassess their goals, and sometimes seek support from others. Sharing feelings with trusted people can relieve psychological pressure, creating conditions for motivation to gradually return. Emotional support does not make people weak. Rather, it helps them realize they are not alone in facing life's difficulties. Life motivation is also linked to the ability to learn and develop oneself continuously. In a constantly changing world, stopping learning means risking falling behind. When people view learning as a lifelong process, every experience, success or failure, becomes a valuable resource. A spirit of lifelong learning helps people continuously expand their limits, thereby maintaining a sense of growth and the motivation to keep exploring their potential. Another factor that cannot be overlooked is mental and physical health. Life motivation cannot be sustained if people constantly overwork, lack sleep, or neglect their health. Physical exhaustion leads to mental depletion, making every effort feel heavier. Maintaining a balanced lifestyle, including proper rest, physical activity, and mental well-being, is a crucial foundation for preserving motivation over time. When the body is healthy and the mind is stable, people have more energy to face challenges and pursue their goals. Life motivation is not only an individual matter, but also a social one. A society that values effort, encourages perseverance, and creates opportunities for individuals to grow contributes to collective motivation. Conversely, if society only glorifies visible success and downplays the process of effort, many people will become discouraged when they fail to achieve desired results. Building a humane social environment, where effort is recognized and failure is met with understanding, is vital for sustaining each individual's motivation to live. On a personal level, redefining success is another way to maintain motivation. Success is not measured only by money or social status, but also by one's satisfaction with life and inner peace. When people define success according to their own values, they are less likely to be swept into endless competition with others. This allows them to focus more on their personal growth journey rather than obsessing over final outcomes. When every step of the journey holds meaning, motivation is less likely to disappear because of temporary failures. Ultimately, life motivation can be seen as a flame that needs daily care. Sometimes it burns brightly, other times it flickers weakly. But if we protect and nurture it, it will not go out completely. Nurturing motivation does not require grand actions. Sometimes it is enough to remind ourselves why we started, acknowledge small progress, and allow ourselves to rest when tired. Life does not demand constant strength. It only asks that we be persistent enough to keep moving forward, even in small steps. In that persistence, motivation is formed, grows, and becomes the strength that helps us not give up on the long and challenging paths of life.